Welcome, gamers, to this week's episode of Last Call Gaming. We're at episode number 68. My name is Craig Perales, and the man who's looking forward to next-gen consoles as much as I, Mandrew Montemayor.
Not really. I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to cancel them all.
Cancel them all?
Cancel them all.
Break out the old PS2 and start playing some old school games. Walk around with that memory card like you used to.
I'm going to get that Atari fucking console.
2600 flashback or whatever.
Yeah, whatever that thing is. I'm going to get that instead. True next gen.
Nice. He knows where he's moving forward. He's a man of the people, and I like it.
I will jump in and say that I like the wood panel that they put on that. I would never buy that fucking console because I don't care about any of those games or anything that's on it. But that wood panel looks sleek as hell on that.
Yeah, it was a very clean looking system of its day. So guys, take a pause right here if you've made it this far, and make sure that you guys are following us on Facebook and Instagram, Last Call Productions, on Twitter at Last Call PRODZ. Make sure if you guys are interested in the podcast only version of this, you check us out on Spotify, on Castbox, on iTunes. Check us out on all the social medias, because that's the way you got to keep knowing it. Hit that subscribe button right about now and those notifications, and keep on rolling with us, baby.
And also to join that Last Call Productions Facebook group, because there's a lot of
and a group.
There's a lot of people in there who just constantly post about games, deals, movie stuff. Just talk about anything. It's more people than just us.
I know we need to get like a Discord going or something along those lines. But future endeavors for the future. So obviously, you guys know we like to have a drink around here. So this was a last minute pickup. It wasn't anything from the recommendation. Normally we record the next day, and I got time to edit and stuff. I'm actually leaving town tomorrow morning, so Andrew ran by real quick, pick up a Bud Light Seltzer, because the Seltzers are apparently, and I don't think we've had a seltzer on here, and we got to be fair to everybody. This is the Bud Light. It sits at 5%, and it comes in the black cherry, the lemon lime, the strawberry, and the mango, and I have chosen to start with the lemon lime and the mango.
I think I'm going to change out one of these black cherries for a mango, but I like them. I think they're good. They're not as heavy or fulfilling as a beer, and there's certain days like today, it's been a long ass day. Again, this is kind of going to be a quick one, but I don't want to be all groggy and sitting here for fucking 4 hours afterwards.
Yeah, so. I gotta be up early in the morning, so I was like, I don't want to get a beer that's fucking 5, 6 something. And seltzers are, they're hot right now. There's people drinking the White Claws. There's the Corona ones. There's other ones. I think the Corona one, out of the ones I've been able to drink, have been the tastier ones. I think Bud Light's a little on the not as flavorful side. I can taste lemon lime, but it's not the lemon limiest compared to some of the other ones that are out there. And I don't even know how many are out there. I can think of the Bud Light, the Corona, and the White Claw. I can't really think of what other
Natty Light, Busch Light.
Are they all doing them now?
Yeah,
I guess they're all doing them.
Coors even has one. I think lemon lime is the worst flavor across the board.
This conversation does sound kind of familiar now. Maybe we have done seltzers in the past or something.
Bud Chief, the best.
The best. So if you got a drink along with us. So let's move into, and it's been a slow news week, guys. The new consoles are coming out next week, so all the big stuff is going to start coming out very soon. But we wanted to start with reminding you guys that this is the last call for the next gen giveaway. Now, at the end of the video, we will have all the rules on how to enter, when it's going to be announced, and all that stuff. But we got to let you know, if you are watching it, and if you watch the beginning of this, the next gen system is coming out on the next episode. So we're on episode 68. We will announce the winner on 69. So make sure that you leave your hashtag next gen comment on the bottom of this episode and go back to all of the other episodes that are qualifying to make sure you can enter, because there's only so many spots, and I don't know how we can make it any clearer. We will pick a name out of each episode via a program that generates a name. So when we get pulled 69, we'll announce it, and you guys will see who the winner is.
Yep. So make sure you get in or get out.
Yeah, and I just want to remind you guys, I hope that once this contest is done, you guys still stay with us, because this isn't the first system we've given away. We've already given away a PS4 Pro.
This is the third.
Yeah, we've given away Nintendo Switch Lite. Now it's this. We've given away games of people's choices. So moving forward, there are still going to be more giveaways. So if you don't win next week, don't be bummed out, because there's going to be more giveaways throughout next year once we move into 2021. So
maybe hopefully you're just here because you like us.
hopefully, I mean, you got to have some winning personalities and some smiles every day to brighten your week up. So that's really all we want to say about that. This is the last qualifying episode. The next one
The last qualifying episode?
the last qualifying episode. Hey, you heard it here first. Anything else on that? I mean, really, not much more we can say.
No, get it while it's hot.
Get it while it's hot. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your significant other. Make up more emails, subscribe, and comment, and you'll have better chances of winning. Hey, we don't care. So the other story we want to get into, and this is where I feel like the bigger head honchos are keeping an eye on this show, because we were talking about PlayStation last week. This group that was in the process of making custom-made PS5 plates that were going to come in different colors like red, blue, green, camo, and they had plans moving on in the future. Well, the official website was PlayStation5.com. They just ran into a little bit of legal issues with Sony. Now, the way it was looking at first was that it was a name incident. They didn't, PlayStation was too close to PlayStation, so they actually ended up changing their name to CustomizeMyPlates.com. And they were already in the process of working with the UK and China in developing quality side panels for the PS5. They weren't going to be just cheap knockoffs. These things were going to run from, I believe they were starting at $39.99. They were supposed to be shipping in 2 weeks, and they had a lot of pre-orders in them. But as the story dived more into it, the lawyers with Sony said that the intellectual property from the Sony 5 actually extends as far as the panels, and they pretty much put the kibosh on it. They've had to cancel and refund everybody's order that happened, and I mean, that's gotta suck for what they thought was an up-and-coming business that they already had planned out.
I thought it was a really cool idea. I was
looking forward to it. I was like, cool, blew up the day one.
That was definitely the last thing I saw coming, but I could definitely see it now. And I mean, Sony definitely probably has something like that in the future, and they'll probably overcharge like hell. But
yeah, because one of the main things they were saying is like, as of right now, I mean, I'm sure they will, but PS5 they haven't said anything about doing other plates or coming out in the near future. The only thing they've done is like, I think they have the all black controller coming out. So I mean, how do you think these guys move forward? I mean, is it even possible?
I just don't know how something like that works, and I wonder, because like the 360, you could get fucking plates from like anywhere, and there's tons of places that have stuff like that. So I don't get how you own the intellectual idea for a side panel, because that would almost be the same as the front plate. But maybe Xbox just didn't care, or maybe they didn't really think at the time, like, oh hey, we can make a killing on this. So I have no clue what they're even going to be able to do about that. Or I wonder if maybe realistically, somehow they had a side plate and copied it one for one as far as like the latch goes, and maybe if they changed, maybe if we change like the little, instead of the pinchers here, it pinches on the middle or something like that, that could be a way to get around it. But then again, I don't know how that whole IP thing works, if it's just the idea of this shape and size plate that slides on here. Like, I don't know if it's a sizing thing, if it extends that far. They didn't really say too much about it, and so I have no clue what they could even do as a company to rebuttal this.
Yeah, because I'm curious what the patent actually looks like, and if it's just a frame for frame, remake for remake. I mean, it'd be kind of cool if Sony looked at them down the line and said, let's just absorb them and like have them be a division that makes plates. If we never had that idea. But yeah, that sucks. I mean, how much went into this, making this little company and having this cool idea going, cool, this is going to be our thing, already talking to people,
right,
already getting things processed and made, to just be like, no. And why so late? I mean, I know they're fairly new, they kind of newly popped up, but like, well, I guess it was actually pretty fast. It was actually just like in a week or two, and they're like, no, you're done.
Yeah, no, I guarantee you, too, they probably had a shit ton of orders on there as well. And now that's just gone, and who knows what that's going to cost them too, especially if they've already started making those deals and manufacturing stuff on the side.
Yeah,
because now you still have to pay for that product that's been delivered to you. The fact that you can't resell them, that's on you.
Yeah, so there's supposed to be more coming out with this story. This just launched, at least when I was reading, was from like the other day, so I'm sure by the time the system drops, there'll probably be a little bit more on it, or at least in terms of, are there going to be customization to the console itself? But as of right now, man, that sucks. Sorry that PlayStation. I thought it was a super cool idea.
Cool name, too.
Yeah, and it was done before it ever got started, so that is a bummer. But again, you don't fuck with Sony. Microsoft is kind of the guys that like play nice with a lot of people on certain things, but Sony is those guys that are just like, no, you're not doing this, and why would we let you? I mean, in retrospect, they are wrong. They can't make plates that aren't licensed. I mean, they can, I guess, if they get around like a patent, but like Sony's not going to approve that.
I think I'm just going to sticker up my Xbox. Like, I've already got like a bunch of like stuff saved onto my
PS5 stickers you're going to put on your Xbox.
Yeah, just a big old PlayStation thing across it.
So, I mean, if you guys went and ordered one, because I know we did the plug for it, apologies, but that's on Sony canceling them quicker than they ever started. So
sorry, PlayStation, no new side panels for you.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Plate this.
Plate this. So those are really the only big stories. Next week we're gonna have a ton more. So let's just move it into riffing it up. And Andrew, why don't you tee off, my good man?
So I'll go first. And again, this one's just a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But sometimes they do release things like this, and some of the stuff sounds a little bit like stuff they've done before. But there's a rumor on 4chan that they're going to release a Final Fantasy VII Remake Definitive Edition. Now, of course, this is going to come with some upgrades as far as how it's going to run, probably visual optics and everything for the next-gen consoles. But also what's said to come with it is a small DLC. Now, what it entails is that it's going to be similar to like what they did with Final Fantasy 15. So take certain characters. In 15, they did one for like not Prompto, Ignis, Gladiolus. I think they've gotten the Arden one out even after like the whole thing was canceled and kind of squashed, and do one on like Tifa, Aerith, Barrett, and stuff that takes place individually, maybe in between chapters, just to give you a little bit more inside story, or even could be like a flashback to another time when they weren't with the group or something. Just kind of flesh out that world a little bit more. And I kind of like that idea, and I think it would be good timing for someone like me. I actually didn't play Final Fantasy VII yet, because I'm waiting for the Xbox One release to come, which is going to be on April 10th. So if that's something that came with it, I'd be super, super stoked on that. And they did say that this is something that was made by a second team, which also would be believable. It wouldn't take a huge team to take these assets and do something, so it shouldn't delay development of whatever the second part 2 is going to be. So I think that would be like kind of another way too to kind of reinvigorate, like, okay, still be hyped, definitely sell more copies, even still just to maybe they'll offer some sort of upgradable if you already own it, maybe like a season pass or something. It's just a little, it's believable, but in the same way, it's not, because Craig brought it up to me, like, they would have already done some other stuff already about it. They already maybe would have had an episode 1, 2, or 3 out, and then sell the definitive edition, usually like most people do. But I have seen definitive editions come out of nowhere with extra shit like that, so.
Yeah, like I was saying to Andrew, usually something like this would already be in the steps by the time they make it for the next, because it's coming to Xbox and all that stuff, and PS5. There would be this stuff would already be out, and it'd be the bundled edition. What's weird is, like, is none of this going to come out before the next gen? So if they're just going to bundle it already with all this stuff, I'm curious if when we're going to see like a trailer for it or something online saying it is there, because they're saying that if you do get it on the PS4, they were saying it's a separate download on PS4. So if you still just have the version that like I do, and the definitive stuff comes out on next gen, you can still download all the costumes and the side missions and all that stuff. But it's weird though that it's just a rumor this close to when the Xbox One version is coming out. Like, we're 6 months away from it, and they're speculating that it's a rumor and nothing like concrete, no screenshots, no nothing from any of the developers. So I hope it's not a rumor, because it would be nice to replay it again with a bunch of cool stuff. But
right,
if it is a rumor, that means the next gen version is just going to be the vanilla version of what we got on PS4.
Well, hopefully they have at least something better patch for the next gen consoles, because I'll be all about that.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing that. I'm looking forward to replaying that as well. So
that's all I got.
Mine was, if you guys are familiar with one of the biggest mobile games of all time,
do tell.
Pokemon Go had its best year ever. Now, this was a game that launched in 2016, and as of, I believe, this quarter, it finally hit $1 billion in revenue, and it's credited to being that the developer, Niantic, created this kind of stay-at-home model. So they were kind of looking at it going, as bad as the pandemic is, it kind of helped them, because a lot of average gamers that don't have consoles or PC, they play on their phone, and everyone can walk around with that, and it was huge. I remember when it first came out, everyone was walking around. I was guilty. You were playing Pokemon Go, weren't you?
Yeah, a little bit, and especially too, I believe that's when you were working at Boost Mobile, and they made it a
Pokemon Stop.
A Pokemon Stop.
Spin it, and it spiked in 2016, and then it went down. It dipped in 2017, and it's been slowly climbing back up. So it's just kind of cool to see that some mobile games have it and some mobile games don't, especially one like this, because then there's like the spin-offs of like the Harry Potter one, which I don't think did that well. It probably had its initial first day boom, but for going from 2016 and still moving forward, it's kind of cool that they were able to hit that. I think one of the big things they have going for it, it's a global game. Like everybody knows Pokemon, so it doesn't matter what language you're in or where you're at, you can recognize that game and play it. It's not limited to just kind of like a Tom Clancy game that's for a specific genre of gamer. Well, Pokemon Go is global, and I mean, kudos for them, man. $1 billion in revenue on a mobile game that nobody thought was gonna blow up as big as it did. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. I mean, Pokemon's a juggernaut property, so it definitely makes sense. If anyone could have done it, it'd be them.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a lot to take in. A little small handheld with augmented fucking creatures that you run around catching. And they're also saying, they made the in-house version. So if you were one of those guys running around and going to different places and catching it, I stopped playing Pokemon Go, so I don't know what the in-house version looks like.
Yeah,
maybe it is as cool, but yeah, if no one could go outside anymore, and this game kept playing inside, because that was the biggest thing that lent itself, going outside and exploring. But if they could keep it going, and I guess they have a lot of like in-app purchases these days, so people are still buying the coins, and people are still buying, whatever else there is in that game. So it finally panned out for them. So if you're playing Pokemon Go, you're part of their solution. So that is it for Riffs. So let's move into Andrew. What are you playing?
I'm actually, like I said, started the Walking Dead New Frontier. I'm actually liking it a lot. I'm only a few hours into it because I finished up the Call of Duty, the Halloween season, and I actually kind of just jumped back into PUBG because they just launched like a new season as well with a new map and everything. I'm actually digging that one a lot. It's a little 3x3 map. I forget what it's called. It's like Palermo or Pomero or something like that.
Problemo.
Yeah. I played that one last night, and it was pretty cool, and I like some of the ideas that they're doing with it. They say, like, the map, the major places in it are supposed to shift every time you get into it. There's also, like, lava on the map, too, so because you're playing near a volcano that will deal damage and stuff. So just jumping in, having not played it in... I don't think I played that game in, like, 2-3 months. I still came in, like, top 5.
Nice.
So
top of the board.
Once you have it, you don't lose it, I guess.
And how's Walking Dead working out for you?
It's good. I mean, I want to get more into it. I just still been caught up with my shooters and everything like that right now, especially since a season was ending. So I was just trying to get all the extra like little bullshit and everything. So
you just go chapter by chapter until a chapter a day or
that's 2 days. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Is just a chapter a day, so I don't get burned out or try to do a chapter a day and then just keep going because I want to do this one and that final one before next week. But I think I'll at least get this one done.
Nice.
Yourself?
I am playing Doom Eternal is done. I was kind of hesitant because I'm like, I don't want to pick up something because I got to leave town and I'm going to be gone for 4 days. So it's like I'm not going to have really time to play anything. By the time I get back, next gen's going to be out. So it's like I don't know really what to play. I don't want to start anything big. But on the Game Pass, a bunch of indies just dropped. Like there was like 6 or 7
I did see that,
games that just popped on. So I was just kind of looking around, and this game called Ink and Fell caught my eye. It's kind of this tactical RPG that's it's kind of a mix of like a Harry Potter mixed with like a Final Fantasy. Like it's these witches and wizards into this school, and you got to start battling. You learn magic. I'm only a couple hours in. I've beaten like the first 3 bosses. I've a couple characters, but instead of being like a grid battle like Final Fantasy Tactics where it's a board, it's kind of this shortened down version to where it's kind of like 6 lanes, and you can kind of move your characters around like that. The graphics aren't the best to look at, especially in the fight scene. That everyone looks kind of elongated, but it is kind of reminiscent of like an 8-bit style game.
That sounds pretty cool. I'll probably check it out.
Nice little RPG. And I looked it up before I started diving into it. They're like, oh, it's like 15 hours. I'm like, okay, cool. I play a couple hours a day up until then because I'm gonna bring. Gino bought me little sticks for my phone, so I can start playing on the cloud. Remotely? So when I leave, I'll play that. If I can squeeze in a couple hours a day, that should be done by then. So that is it for me until next gen. So let's move into some video game questions of the week.
Week.
Of that last week. And the first question comes from Avenstein, and he says, video game question of the day. We were talking about movies last week with one of his questions. Harkins played Empire Strikes Back for its 40-year anniversary. I was stoked to go see such an iconic film in theaters. What movie or movies do you guys wish you could have watched in theaters? Anything stand out to you?
Yeah,
mine back in the day.
I already blew my chance at it too. It's when I moved to California and I kind of just didn't have a lot of money and I had a lot of other stuff I was worrying about. But they actually had Jurassic Park, the first one, playing in theaters again, and that is my favorite movie of all time. On the right day, I might say Jurassic World because that's pretty much a rehash of one, and that's kind of why I love that one almost just as much. So either of those two, but I did see Jurassic World in theaters. But Jurassic Park for me, and I regret that I don't have a movie ticket stub for that because it would have been badass. And where my dad lives too, they actually have really nice like AMC big ass like theaters with like the nice chairs and the nice everything. So that would have been really cool.
Nice. In my time, like a movie that I actually missed in theaters, even though I don't really care for the movie itself, I never saw Avatar in theater, and that movie came out like re-released in theaters like 2 or 3 times. I never saw, and I'm talking like the James Cameron Blue Alien Avatar. I never saw that.
Oh, I thought you meant
theaters.
The Last Airbender.
No,
I was gonna say, I've seen both of those in
I've
theaters.
never seen that in theater and being like, ugh. I never saw the original Avatar by Name, in theaters. But movies I wish I could have seen, Braveheart would have been something kind of cool to see. Like, I like going to movies and seeing like epics because that's always the best way to see those type of movies. I mean, I'll go watch a bunch of stuff, but like movies like that are pretty awesome, or a good comedy. I don't know. I'm sure it had a big theatrical release. Robin Hood Men in Tights would have been kind of cool to see. I like seeing epics in theaters, and I like being in comedies where like the whole theater is laughing at a joke and you're all in on it and then you love it as it goes along. Other than that, I don't think there's anything I've ever really regretted not seeing in a theater or wish I could have, because I just saw Indiana Jones the other day when that was in theaters, so that was kind of cool to see. I saw Goonies recently, so that was kind of cool. That takes 2 off my belt.
I saw 300 in theaters, and I saw that with my dad too, actually, when it came out. My dad's not like super big into like comics or anything like that. He kind of is, but not really-ish. And he actually loved that movie too, and I'll never forget it either, because I was like, okay, yeah, let's go see it. And then when we left, we were both just super into it, and it was one of those, like, the first thing he said is like, that movie was great. Like, it's one of those movies I wish didn't end. Yeah. And I love 300. I think that's such a fucking great movie.
And I'll say Gino's too. Gino was bringing it to our attention last week that Turtles is going back into theaters. I would love to go catch Turtles, so I hope by the time I get back, it is still playing in theaters, because I'd love to see it.
I'm not woefully in love with it, but I would like to go see it.
Nice. Well, we should make a day out of it. So that is the end of questions, guys. Again, shorter episode. So right about now, we will take the cut so you guys can see the official entry into the contest. You can see what countries are part of that, and you can know how to enter, how to win. Check it out. Hey guys, my name is Craig, and this is Mandrew, and this is the official Last Call Gaming giveaway for the digital PS5 or the Xbox Series S. Now, to be entered into the contest, you must like these videos and you have to be subscribed to the channel. You will not be viewed if you are not subscribed. Now, to be a eligible participant, you must be in North America or these parts of Europe. Now, we are flexible on this, guys. Here is a big list. If you do not see your country on there, feel free to email us or send us on Instagram or Twitter or the comments and ask if your country is eligible. If it is within our budget to provide it, we will look it up and we will get back to you, letting you know that you are eligible to enter. Also, guys, if once you win, you have 1 week to respond. So if you hear your name being called on episode 69 that you are the winner, you must reach out to us, because if we do not hear from you, we're going to keep doing the contest until we actually hit the person that has one that's reached back out to us. Now, the way you enter is in the comment section. Leave us a question, leave us any type of criticism, but you have to write #NextGen. That is going to be your entry moving forward in the episodes, how we recognize that you are entered in. Now, the contest is going from episode 63, which has already happened, all the way up until episode 68. Now, what you can do is you can go on all of those and enter #NextGen, and that will give you an entry for each and every one of those. Because on episode 69, which is November 13th, we are going to announce the winners. So by episode 68, the last date will actually be November 12th. You will have till 12 p.m. noon, and that's going to be Arizona time, because that is where we reside, and that's the way we're going to base the clock off of, guys. So make sure you follow those simple rules. And if there's any confusion at all, write us, comment to us, because we will get back to you and we will clarify it. But just to reiterate, contest is between episode 63 to 68, and episode 69 will be the winner announcement, which is going to be November 13th. And that is all we have to say for the Last Call Gaming giveaway, guys. Good luck.
Good luck.
All right, guys, that is how you enter the contest. Those are one of two prizes that you can win if selected, again, on the next episode, episode 69. So again, guys, short episode, not a lot to talk about.
Calm before the storm.
Yeah, you can bet next week we're going to have tons to talk about. Xbox One or Series X's are going to be in our hands. First look at games we're going to get, like Valhalla, and what that loading times will be like. So we're going to get a lot of stuff to cover. This was something to get you guys through the week and that final entry point for the contest. So, Andrew, is there anything else you want to add to the kids at home? Oh, you know what? I didn't even crack my mango. That's how short of an episode was.
Yeah,
I didn't even get through 2 beers. So hold on. Let me take a pause. Andrew, say something.
I'm like halfway through this one. I would like to know what everyone out there is interested in playing. If you're going to get a day one console, I'm interested in how many people actually outside of this, whether this is your fallback or this is your definitive, oh man, this is my only way to get a console. How many of you guys actually are planning on getting one day one outside of the show? Even if you're entering, it's not like it's going to hurt your chance or anything. Not like it would matter for you to have two consoles. You know, I don't care, whatever. How many of you guys out there are planning on getting one day one, regardless whether you win or not?
Yeah, I would love to hear that. And I love, there's a ton more people in the comments. I want more people to start leaving some feedback, and a lot of you guys do, so we super appreciate that. But yeah, I want to hear more of what people are playing, what they plan on playing, what they want to get. You know, that's the stuff I like looking forward to as a fan. And I gotta say, I wish I would have started with the mango, because the mango was so. Well, actually, no, maybe it was the better palate rinser. The mango was actually way better than I thought it was going to be compared to the lemon lime.
The mango's good. We had that on the show before. All mangoes.
Well, mango's always the best, but I did the Corona lemon lime before, and I remember really liking it. That Bud Light just was not the same.
Well, I think the best ending for this, again, would be we've actually still been going up in subscribers, and we're super fucking grateful for everything. We finally hit that 1,000 mark. Again, cannot describe like how grateful we are to like everybody. I didn't think we'd ever like make it, like, because you don't ever really think about stuff like that, and I'm super stoked. And it might be a small number in comparison to everybody else, but either way, I'm super proud of everything that we've done, and I'm glad we actually made a goal that we had set for ourselves like a year ago.
Yeah, the goal was to do it before the end of the year, and we came in comfy. We did it by October, so I mean, we got the next 2 months to keep going, and then we have another 2 months to think of the next contest for the beginning of next year, because I think we're going to start out strong and do something cool moving into January. Now there's going to be so much next-gen things to start giving away. So guys, until next time, my name is Craig Perales, and that is Mongo Montemayor.
This one's for you.
Cheers. So guys, normally we just do the SideReel where we kind of shoot the shit, kick back, talk about it, show you guys a little insight of what we do, whether we start the show prior or after. But as Andrew brought it to my attention, I completely glossed over a question that we were going to do. And this one comes from Connor Malone. So this SideReel will be a question dedicated to you, my man, because I completely spaced it. And Connor asks, #NextGen, what do you think of games announcing expansions before the original is even out? Valhalla this week announced 2 for next year, and while I'm glad because I look forward to the expansion, in Ireland we think it's a bit weird and seems quite money grabby from the outset. Maybe it's from the outside. So, but I think we get the gist of your question. In terms of, essentially, you're talking about roadmaps and things like that, and things already highlighting a bunch of stuff. So, Andrew, you caught the arrow. Why don't you lead us off?
I'm actually not crazy about it, kind of like I used to be. I know a lot of people like to know, okay, cool, I have this to look forward to, but that, I think, was at a time where you may or may not do DLC for a game, but now everyone expects DLC with stuff like Assassin's Creed, or I don't think they've showed anything like that for Watch Dogs, but I know for sure that game is definitely going to get at least something more. So yeah, now I kind of don't like the taste of it, because yeah, it does seem like money grabby in a way, especially since you're paying for content, especially when they do like the season pass stuff. If you pay for it as it comes, I can get that, but yeah, doing the season pass where you're paying for this stuff that isn't here yet, and who knows if something financial may happen to where it's never gonna get there, like what happened with Telltale's The Walking Dead. You know, they did all that stuff, and I think with that final season they had to bring in another team to make it, because you could have bought that whole thing even though it was only like $20, but you were only going to get that first episode. That's all they put out, and there was nothing else, and they had to bring in another team to fulfill that obligation. So
God.
It used to be a thing to where it was kind of exciting, but now I'm not really crazy about it, especially too if there's a game like Dark Souls, I think does this well, is that's a game that's already got a niche audience, and it's arguably huge. It's a lot bigger now than it ever was. It's super popular, especially because it's popular to get jacked up at that game, to watch streamers do whatever. But they didn't announce, hey, here's this plus the DLC later on. They should announce the DLC later on when it's ready, or hey, we're going to do this, but it's months after the game is already released. So especially now that they're bigger too, and that's something that maybe I may or may not expect, I appreciate that a lot more for what it is.
Yeah, I think it sucks. We went from a time from where there was just DLC to year-long roadmaps, and I gotta say, like, Mortal Kombat does a really good job of every X amount of months doing like an expansion that does some DLC stuff, drops a few characters, does a few skins. They don't say, hey, and here's all the characters that were coming out for the next year and a half, where some of these other games do that, and I don't really care for the the long roadmap. Now, to sign a little bit differently, there's certain games that have earned it. There are certain games like Assassin's Creed, which sells phenomenal every year. There's games like Call of Duty that sell every year. We know they're going to do well. If Valhalla comes out with a few things, because the difference between like an Andrew and I and the average gamer, we beat around 20 to 30 plus games a year. Some people only play 5. And
right.
If you only have 5 games a year and you want to buy Skyrim or something along those lines, and you go, oh, my one big game I'm gonna do. Oh, what's it have coming for me? This will be my whole year of playing. Then I think it's fair to give it to games that have earned it. Elder Scrolls has earned it. Assassin's Creed has earned it. Call of Duties have earned it. Because that's going to be someone's year-long game. Maybe they'll dabble in a few others, but that's the game they're going to play. That's the game they're going to invest their time in. When you take a look at like what Apex Legends did, Anthem. Anthem did. That was a game that bombed like at the gate, and they had this whole big plan that they were going to do with Anthem, and it was pre-ordered. If you look back on the sales, it was actually one of the best-selling games of the year because so many people bought it. But none of what they promised is happening, and they never earned that. That's a new IP that had nothing going for it based on who does it? EA? They're saying like, oh, we're gonna make this game great. No, that's what I don't care about. I don't want to see something that's here's the next 12 months plan. You guys aren't even established. Assassin's Creed, I think, can get away with going, hey guys, here's the 2 next big things we're going to do. Because if this is a game that's hundreds of hours, give or take, if this is where your time's going to go, we've got you covered for at least another 6 months, and here's what the peekaboo is. But certain titles I don't think, and it should not be for everybody, and that's what we're getting into. Everybody's trying to do these roadmaps, and I do not think that's the smart idea. I mean, there's a big difference between dropping a little DLC here and there versus going, oh, we have the next 2 expansions ready, and you're not a franchise that anybody's familiar with.
And it's easy to burn that bridge too. Again, like you said with Anthem or even Battlefield 5, they had to like abandon part of their roadmap because everything just got fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
Run right, that it changed so many different things. Some content that they said was going to show up didn't even end up showing up. So that's something with the next one. As much as I was a huge Battlefield fan, I don't want to see any of that. I just want to see all the day one shit. And when you get that right, then I'll be interested in other stuff. And this isn't saying if someone's like, let's say, comes out with whatever, like, hey, I prefer, here's the game. We do have other stuff coming down the pipeline. We're just going to tell you that, and that's it. And we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I appreciate that far more than promising me the world and then fucking up on the delivery.
Yeah, because oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say, again, to your point, Assassin's Creed, they've earned it. I'm not mad at Assassin's Creed. I can appreciate that for what it is, because that's a game with the past couple that have delivered. But again, all it takes is that one game to fuck it up. I don't think this is going to be that one, but that's all it takes is one.
Yeah, and Assassin's Creed usually gives us good content, good add-on bonuses and stuff like that. And they're doing those things are just like bad release dates. If it's not concrete, then I don't want to hear about it, because all at that point is it's hypothetical. Oh, we're gonna do something based around this, and then it gets canceled. So that was never even in development. That was just where they kind of wanted to go. I don't give a shit about that. Either it's coming, but like it's either concrete or it's not. And I don't think all these, like a lot of these games, like with like like Batman Arkham Knight and stuff like that, maybe Arkham Knight, but the series, when they kept wanting to be like, oh, we're going to do our add-on and we're going to add wave bonus. It was like a lot of those things dropped their online features. So all that stuff they said was going to happen never happened. And then like no one gives a shit. So if you never would have announced it, then we never would have cared. But I do think there's certain games that can do it and it's promising for the gamer that's going to buy that and invest their whole time in it, where other games are like, nobody needs to know what you're doing. And like a big example would be Marvel Avengers. Marvel Avengers is already planning that in the next 6 months, Spider-Man's coming, and all these guys, and all these guys, and all these guys. Well, the game's tanking, and it's dipping off, and no one's playing it anymore. So who cares?
Yeah.
Like, if you never would have announced that, and you never would have even said the Spider-Man thing, it would never have been an issue. No one's playing this game anymore. You got to get out the gate, see where the numbers are before you can start planning a year, because that's all that happened. We got all these characters coming. Well, I'm not playing anymore, and you're not playing anymore. So, like, I don't care anymore.
And that's part of the problem, too, when you announce something like that. Okay, your day one game is fucking broken. Now, are you spending your time with your team that already had a hard time doing this? Are you spending your time working on the DLC you promised me? Or are you cutting corners and spending time trying to fix all your shit that should have worked in the first place, and now you're cutting corners on the DLC? Either way, you're burning your relationship with the consumer.
Yeah, so it really just, each studio can do their own thing, but I think certain ones have earned it. Certain ones shouldn't even mention it. So
either way, good question.
Yeah, really good question. And Andrew, because we were stopping, Andrew's like, "Oh man, you really glossed over Connor's question." I'm like, "Oh shit, I didn't even notice this." So Connor, your whole side roll, baby, just for you, and I hope you are appreciative, sir. So that is the end of this side roll and the end of this episode, guys. So Mango and Black Cherry out.
Away.